Hey guys, welcome. If you want to create this super simple bodice to attach to the skirt from part 1, stay tuned for the rest of the tutorial. Alright guys, in order to draft your bodice, you will need your bust measurements. Being careful not to hold too tight around the bust. You will need your waist measurements. You will need the circumference of the neck. You will need the neck to shoulder measurements. You will need the shoulder to bust. You will need the shoulder to the waist measurements, and you will need the circumference of the armhole, which is actually optional. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with the bodice. So we are going to make our center fold line. Now we know the bodice length is 14 inches, so we're going to start at the top. And we're going to add 2 inches. Okay. Now let's come back up, and we can just go ahead and make a straight line here. It doesn't matter how long this line is. Then we're going to go down about 7.5 inches, and this is from the top of the neck to the bust line. Then we're going to make a line straight across. And then the waist, we're just going to also make a line straight across. Because we are joining this bodice to a skirt, we don't need to go any further than the waist area, because the waist is going to be joined, of course, to the skirt pattern that we've created previously. Okay, so now what we're going to do is create our, actually let's go ahead and label point A, point B, move that out the way so you guys can see, point C, point D, point E, point F. So from point A to D, what we're going to do is create our neckline, our neck hole, and that's standard is about 3 inches. From our neck hole into our shoulder, it is 4.5 inches on our client. So we're going to make a mark there, and we're going to label this G and H. Now from point H, we're going to go down 1 inch, and that is going to be point I. So we're going to create a line from H to I, and then we're going to create a diagonal line from G to I. And this is our diagonal shoulder slope, because our shoulders are not straight across, they are sloped. So then what we're going to do is from C to E, we're going to find our bust measurement. So our client has circumference of 32 inches, so when we divide that by 4, we have 8 inches. So this is going to be our bust line, and we're going to label that point J. Okay, so now we're going to work on our armhole. So how we're going to first we have to create an upper bust line. Okay, so our upper bust line is our breast measurement, which is 32 divided by 6 plus 1. So we have 6.3 in our instance. So we're going to start at H, point H, and we're going to find 6.3. So that's right here. And we're going to label that point K. So we are going to create a line from our center point, our center fold line, straight across. Now from point K, we're going to create about 3/4 of an inch, a point about 3/4 of an inch away. So about right here, maybe a little bit more. And that's going to be point L. So this is going to allow us to have more room when we move. Well, more room than our arms when we move. So now we're going to connect point I and K. Make a line. So we're going to find the center. So this is 5 inches. So we're going to go, actually that's 5 and 2. Okay, so we're going to go 2.5, and about right here is our center. And we're going to come out about 3/4 of an inch here, 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to label M and N. So from point I to N to now K, we're going to create our armhole length, our armhole. So what I'm going to do from I to N is just go ahead and use my diagonal ruler and create that point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going ahead and take my French curve ruler and I'm going to create my curve from N to point K. Just like that. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is find our waist length. Our waist length. So we have the client's waist is 28 inches, so that divided by 4 is 7. So we are going to label this O. So what we're going to do is connect L, J, and O. And that is so perfect so far. And then we're going to go up to our neckline and work on that. So this is great because G is going to be your point. G is your starting point, your ending point. So depending on how long or how deep you want your neck hole is up to you. You can do a long V-neck, and this is such a basic pattern that you can create any neck hole that you like. So for me, I'm just going to give you guys multiple examples of neck holes. So I'm going to do a start off with a really short neck hole. And I'm going to connect those points. If you want to create a really deep V, you can go from G, and I'm going to just make that a dotted line. G to under your bust line, or you can go even deeper, whatever you like. But those are just 2 examples of how you can really get creative with your neck hole once you have your G point. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, well, we have points L and M, or L and N actually. So L is going to be connected to N on the back of the pattern. But what we're going to do first is go ahead and label our pattern. So we have our neckline, we have the upper bust, we have our bustline, our waistline, we have our armhole. I'm going to try to write this so you guys can see. And then we have our center fold line. Alright, and then we can always indicate a line here, and this tells you, or if you have a helper or assistant, anyone helping you create cut your patterns, that you can adjust the width, adjust the length of your pattern. So if you need this to be a bit longer, if your skirt starts lower, or if your skirt starts higher, you can always come in and make this way shorter if you want to do a crop top, or you can make it longer. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and cut this pattern out, and then I will be right back and we'll work on the back. Let's go ahead and get started on the back. So what we're going to do is just create our back armhole, and then we're going to add the zipper. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to add this interfacing paper, which I can see through, just to show you guys how easy it is to trace. Now realistically, you should just be creating a whole new pattern, but I don't want to keep you guys here that long. You don't have to recreate or have to create a new one, but I think you should for accuracy. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm adding 1 inch for the zipper. And then I'm going to create another center fold line, well actually just another line here just for a reference, and this is the length of our bodice. And then I'm going to go over and create another line, which is closing out that 1 inch for our zipper. Go ahead and close that in. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and trace. I'm still going to use a ruler to trace, so it'll be a lot cleaner. Okay. So this is where you want to be very, very particular. So our armhole is going to come to the center point. So we're just going to bring that up just a little bit. And if you can see, we have a couple centimeters between our original armhole line. What that does is just allows our bodice and our armhole to have some give in it. Then we're going to create the waistline. Okay, so now what we can do is just trace that, being very careful, and that is the back of our bodice. Now, we don't need to create a new neckline because we've already traced our current neckline. Make sure that those add up, so that way when we sew the front and the back bodice together, all of our points add up perfectly. Now the only thing that's not going to add up is the back part of your neckline, back portion of your armhole, and again that is for extra give. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and neckline, waist line, and our shoulder. Again, we don't have to label these because they're kind of self-explanatory, but I'm just doing it so you guys can understand exactly what everything is, and I need to scoot it over just a little bit so you guys can see. And again, we can create those arrows for ourselves or our assistants, distinguishing. We're just letting our assistants or ourselves know that this the waist can always be, or sorry, the bodice length can always be extended or taken in. And there you have it. I'm just going to cut this out and I'll be right back. So now we have both pieces cut out. We have the front bodice and the back bodice, and the only difference is that we've added a zipper in the back bodice, and the armhole extends up just a little bit on the back bodice. And you should have something that looks like